TikTok, YouTube. We're streaming, dude. We're streaming. Oh. Hanging out. For the people that are watching this after the fact, hanging out off the road. So I want to come hang out with you guys. Nothing planned for this, nothing exciting. Just looking to hang out. So we got, I'm trying today, we're doing TikTok and YouTube. Now TikTok, it doesn't matter because it doesn't save it, but y'all have been loving on some of the TikTok posts. You know, I found the key to TikTok is you just post once a month. If I post multiple days in a row, it doesn't do anything. Post once a month, I'm at 60,000 views like it's nothing. Post a follow-up and you get like 900 views, you know. But what is up, you guys? I'm gonna play some guitar and hang out. I don't think anybody's in here yet. Northern Ireland, Robin, it's great to see you as always, Robin. I see you in here all the time, man. Hey, what time is it in Ireland? There, because you're in these chats a lot when I'm doing it this time of day. What's up, you guys? Can you hear the guitar? That sound. That's a little extra reverb on Interesting. That's with the bright switch off. Okay, hey, what's up, you guys? Andy Cooper. Can only stay a few minutes. Off to gig with... Oh, heck yeah, Andy. Where are you going to gig with? Are you in town? Or are you somewhere else that has live music all day long? I'll tell you what, you guys. It is crazy. The HDRX20, the settings I have at home versus on the road. I like it a little more bassy in here and to take up a little bit more space between the mid-range and whatnot. But on the road, like, you've got to focus that sound in a band context, you know, to cut through the mix a little bit more, especially with the humbuckers. Right now I'm playing, right, the PRS. But with the humbuckers, definitely got to focus that in a little bit. 443. Okay, nice. Hi from Dallas. What's up, Mike? Good morning, Patrick. Snack, good morning. Now, I will say, I've got the TikTok chat up, but the main chat over here is the YouTube chat. I'm doing y'all simultaneously, but... I don't know Scuttlebutt. When people ask me for Stevie Ray Vaughan, which is so funny, the difference between the two chats. What's up, Stony Jackson? I've got two chats going on, and TikTok is definitely a different. A lot of people like request, and you're just flipping through quicker. Whereas I get the sense on the YouTube, a lot of you guys are like subscribed. Which, you guys, thank you so much. This channel's been fun. Hope you're enjoying that latest gig vlog. And for the TikTok people, if you haven't checked out the YouTube, that's where I do most of my content now. But Follow the host. Hey, thanks for the follow. What's up, Stony? What's up, fella? Hey, thanks, Stanley. I've got so many chats I didn't. I wasn't prepared. Okay, back to YouTube real quick. Good morning, Kent. What's up? Angelo, hello from St. Louis. Angelo, do you know I'm from St. Louis? What part of St. Louis? I'm in the UK. Tim, nice pub gig tonight. Heck yeah, Andy. Have you new HDRX20? Is this your first gig with it? And what guitar are you running through it, dude? I love these things. And you've probably seen that I've used it a bunch. I've now only used it on 3 LANCO gigs because we haven't been able to bring my gear a lot since we used it. But on the bus gig you just saw, I just used it. We actually did 2 gigs on that bus gig, but I didn't vlog the second one, which I saw another YouTuber did the same festival I did a day later, and he vlogged it. Kinda. He doesn't really talk in his videos. It's just a GoPro. But anyways, yeah, I didn't want to hit you guys over the head with too much of the same content, you know, but Noel, good to see ya. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, Tim, dumb question probably, but when you're playing for a living, how subconsciously or consciously do you become of protecting your hands? Do you avoid certain chores or tasks now? I'll tell you what, Joe, that's a great question. It's a great question. I definitely think about it more. I absolutely think about it more. So when I'm cutting stuff, I don't go fast at all. I really take my time. I make sure my left hand is in like a safe position as always, as much as I can. I go really slow. When I love skiing and snowboarding, I really only get to do it about once a year now. With my family, we kind of go on a trip once a year. And when I do that, I take it nice and easy. You know, when I was younger, I'd love to go and try harder stuff and whatnot. And now I take it really easy. Really easy. So that's stuff involving ropes, or I don't know. I was on a boat the other day and people were wakeboarding. I like to wakeboard too, but I was going out later that night. It's a great thing to just say, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out tonight because I can't get even kind of hurt, you know? And that is a factor. That is a factor. So I'm definitely conscious of it. Super conscious of it. Just because this is how I make my money. If I were to, I mean, it's just, yeah, it could be really bad. So I'm conscious of it and conscious of just the hand health in general and stuff too, not hurting myself. So it's not a dumb question, Joe. That's a smart question because, you know, if you were a runner, you'd be protecting your legs or whatever, right? You know. What watch do I wear, John? On this one, I've got just the OG, right? You know what? It's upside down, but I'll tell you what. I love this watch, you guys, because people that are into watches tend to also. This is like a nostalgic piece, and it's cheap, you know? I've got, it's packed away. I've got one really good automatic watch. It's a Ball chronograph that's like my nice automatic watch. And I'd like to get more, but the daily driver is just this little Casio. Looks nice, easy to tell the time, and watch people tend to know what it is, and I love that. It's like a $12 to $20 watch. You know, I was just, I was hanging out with some, people I had met, and I won't say their names or whatnot, but really successful people. And one of the guys came over and pointed out the watch, and we had like a 20-minute conversation about watches. And he owns some incredible. He owns watches that are more expensive than the house I'm in. But he noticed the Casio and came over and was like, "That's really cool." So, you know, it's cool. People even on that level that own stuff that to own a watch that's hundreds of thousands of dollars, you need to have an incredible amount of money. So I probably won't ever own one of those. But it's cool that like people at every level can be like, that Casio is old school, you know? It sparked a conversation. So I love that about them. Okay. What picks do you use? Okay, Mike, my standard pick is just a Fender Medium. OG Fender Medium, as basic as it gets. I use the shoulder side of it. I don't use the point, you know? I love that. Love that little. Dude, is there anything better than a Strat in the out of phase position? Right, I'm on these two with a bunch of reverb. I did that for that Mateus Asado video I did for my TikTok people, which is why I'm streaming on TikTok, just because past few videos have gotten a bunch of views, so I figured I'd stream on both. I'm streaming on both, YouTube and TikTok. So, TikTok, I've got the YouTube as my main chat up here on my stream software. I do have your chat over there, it's just farther, but I do see you guys. Stoney, do you have a warm-up routine before hitting the stage? You know what, Stoney? Just backstage, what I do a lot is just literally, because most of the time I have no volume, and I'm just going... Just stuff like that. And then I'll just play a... I tend to just like random noodle just to get my fingers warmed up, and there's no volume when I do that, so I will do that. It's not fun or musical at all. Sometimes, honestly, a major 7 arpeggio is great to stretch out the fingers doing it. Not bad on that little back pickup sound, huh? Okay, you guys, let me answer some more questions. I'm playing just hanging out today. I'm playing and hanging out. I want to talk to you two about a couple questions, but let's see. How do you play the major scale in each key? You just got to learn it in one key. The pattern's the same. So if you learn one pattern, your pattern off that low E string, you're going to be doing... And then it's just wherever you move it, and it'll all be the same. Okay, is LANCO recording again soon? Yes. We're about to put out a whole album. I think the album will be coming at the top of like next year, but we're recording the last 3 songs for it mid-August. We're going back in the studio, which is going to be awesome, you guys, because instead of some road gig vlogs, I'm going to take you into the studio with us and do some studio gig vlogs. And hopefully get a ton of parts of me playing and stuff. Obviously, you won't be able to hear the whole track, but you'll get to see me tracking and stuff. I think that's going to make for some awesome videos, to be honest. So, yes. Yes. Okay, when does the bus tour start? Well, we just did the bus stuff. We're flying. I fly out again tomorrow. We're flying right now to these other ones. Gig vlogs are so much fun to watch. I've always wondered what the lifestyle was like. Hey, thanks, Patrick. I hope you're, or I'm glad you're enjoying it. PRS S2 with small pedal board. My main gig is a Floyd tribute in theaters. Oh, I see. Right on. Awesome. But I'm enjoying smaller gigs with less gear. Yeah, I love still playing just clubs and stuff, man. It's nice. It's easy. It's most of the time I'm not on tracks, so I just cut an Uncle Larry video short to come hang out with you. I just cut a Uncle Larry video short to come hang out with you. What do you mean, Mike? I'm not exactly sure I understand your comment, but do you always stand on stage right? Any logic to that? No, I don't think there's any specific logic. It's just that's where in LANCO, that's where I always stand. And that's just how they had already set up, and that's where a lot of times lead guitars like stage right and bass is stage left. I don't know why that's the case, but most of the time that is the case. If you look, that is the case a lot. Thomas, what's up, Thomas? Did you get that new guitar yet? Did you decide against it since you're not selling your current guitar? Eric, I didn't decide against it, but since I'm not selling the current guitar, I am waiting. just a little bit. So I didn't decide against it, but I am glad I decided to keep that CE. So I decided just to save a little bit of money for it. Can we see a cool / interesting way to transition from a C to a G? Love the channel, Tim. Okay, so C to a G. So if we're in the key of C, that's going 1 to 5, right? So C, F, G, right? C is 1, F is 4, G is 5. So there's all types of ways. A great way to lead into a chord is going the minor third to the major third and then hitting the root of the chord you're going to. So if we're in C and I'm going, hear that? Went straight up to G. So I try doing that, like going from C. Start trying to do just that. You can start trying to go from just a C to a G or any chord by just ending your phrase on the root note, right? So if I'm in C, let me scooch up a little bit. See if you guys get a little bit better view of what I'm playing. I can change the camera too. But if I'm in C, I'm ending my phrase primarily on the root, my phrases, so I go. Say I went up to the 4. See there? Lead your ear right to the 4. So here, see how there you can hear it when I'm moving, and the idea is that you'd start that in one position you're familiar with. So if I'm doing C and kind of this A and G shaped C, I know, okay, here's my 4 chord, C shaped 4 chord, and then I can either go to my E shaped 5 chord here, or up to the C shaped 5 chord right there, or you can kind of think of this D shape, right? We got anybody still out in TikTok land? I'm switching between the two chats, but I'm mainly focused on this YouTube chat. But let me okay, what do you think about the 5/9/4 single cut versus the double cut? Thomas, I've only played them. I've played the double cut more, and I've only played them both kind of briefly. In the single cut, I've played a lot more unplugged, so I don't have like a bunch of great info on it, sadly, honestly. But thoughts on a heavy guitar body versus a light one, considering putting a neck on a very light Strat copy body I like, but concerned with tone changes before going through the process. Joe, I don't know. I think that, you know, you could get in an argument, but each guitar sounds good like the way it is. I'm going to pull the camera down just a little bit so you can see a little bit more of the guitar. There we go. You know, each one, I think, is just its own thing. This is the lightest guitar I own, and it's fairly light, but my other Strat's really heavy. The DGT is kind of in between, and it's a thicker body. The G&L Telly I have is really heavy, so each one's kind of different. I don't know. This one sounds good. It's lighter, but I don't think you're going to lose, like, tone from that, personally. I don't think so. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Anyways, we're just messing around. Okay, you guys, let me answer a couple more questions. Yeah, absolutely. Guitar luthier in Nashville is Sean Payton Guitar Services all day long. In fact, you guys, check this out. In fact, that reminds me, I need to return Sean had called me. I need to return him. But I'm going to have a video coming up where I'm taking him with Sean. And I'm going to record on YouTube, not on TikTok, you guys. But I'm going to go in with Sean, and he's going to work on some guitars. I'm just going to film a little bit. He's going to talk a little bit about his process. Really interesting process. Really good luthier. He got this all kind of tuned up for me and stuff. Just back in, I had a little bit of scratchy pots and just some intonation. He got it all set up, and it sounds great. So, Sean Payton Guitar Services, no doubt. Okay. Duke, what's up, Duke? Jimmy, what's up, man? I do not have a degree in music, Trey. No degree in music. Any chance LANCO is coming to Arkansas? I bet we will. Patrick, I don't know when yet, but I'm sure we will. Chose to hang out with you, Tim, rather than hang out with Uncle Larry. Oh, that's what you're saying. Oh, is Uncle Larry doing a live? He doesn't live stream ever, though, right? You can go back and watch that video. I don't think he really live streams. Maybe he does. How did you land your gig with LANCO? Do you guys want to hear that? Hey, tell me in the chat if you guys want me to tell that story. It's a pretty interesting story compared to how it normally goes here in Nashville. I did it. It's not just luck. A lot of preparation went into me being prepared for the opportunity that happened. But if you guys want to hear about that, tell me. Bro, I'd love to jam with you one day. Heck yeah, Jared. Where do you live in Nashville? Where you live at? Mr. Vague Pong 2-star text, man. Mr. Vague, what's up, dude? Always good seeing you in here. Whoops, I clicked out of my TikTok chat. Dylan, what's up, man? On TikTok, how you doing? Hey, Tim. Got any cool pedal steel type licks? Play on. Yeah, Frankie. Okay, we'll run through some pedal steel licks. I love doing stuff like that. Gotta have a belly cut on everything, right? Whoops. I agree, it does feel comfy. The DGT doesn't necessarily have one. And I'm a pretty small guy, which is plus or minus, because, you know, I might not have a huge belly, but my ribs are just rubbing against it, you know? But I love the belly cut. I came up a Strat guy. Yeah. I've been leaving the back plate off. I think it looks cooler. No one knows. You never see that, but really doesn't matter. Okay, I will hit a couple of these pedal steel licks. I got some great ones. Here's just a little, if you learn just what I'm about to do right here, this is a great, work for that. Okay. I really like doing this type of thing. So just that little, you know, you can turn that into kind of a riff, and I have at points of going. So that's working through a couple. This first one's out of the... that C-shaped G chord, and I'm going just... So I'm pedaling the 5 up top, I'm grabbing the 1, and then I put my ring finger on the 2, and we're bending up to the 3. Then we're going to the 5 chord, and I'm going... And I'm bending that major third up a half step and then back down. So I still pedal that 5 because we're going on the 5 chord. So alright, so that's over the D. Then we go to the 4. This is a great one, classic. You can make it super country and go. And that's out of that G shape, so I'm thinking here. I'm over the C chord now, right? So I'm thinking right here, and I'm going. So I'm grabbing the 5, the 1, and then I'm bending that 2 up to the major third. And if you rake it, it gives that classic. And then this last one is probably the hardest one. Here I'm going back to G, and I'm thinking G out of this E shape. But instead of my middle finger on the major third, I'm going to grab my pointer finger on the minor third. So it's like this. But you go. And you pull that down to get up to that major third. With my pointer finger, I'm pulling it down. And I do that kind of thing. That's another great one going down from it. That's hard. That's the hardest one out of all of them, no doubt. I got a great old riff I wrote using that. That's not even country, but it uses that bend. So those are some great pedal steel licks. I hope you liked some of that. Any advice setting up live band sound with smaller mixer? Just played family party and after watching videos realized should have done sound check from audience position. Stage monitor helps them. You know, Russ, I don't do sound myself, but off the bat I'd say yeah, if you're running sound and you're in the band on a little mixer, I would go try and stand out there and listen a little bit. Even if you can get someone else to hold your guitar and just block an E chord or something, just so you can kind of hear where you're at, that'll definitely help, I think. Okay, sorry, I'm way behind on the comments, which I love. Hey, YouTube, you guys, thanks for... I always have such great streams on YouTube, and not to take too much love away from TikTok, but there's always a lot of people on YouTube and TikTok. If you guys are watching there, too, YouTube is the main platform. And where I'm answering most of these questions, although I'm answering both of you. I use wireless so I can run the sound and listen to the mix, yeah. And that's a great thing to do if you can get just a basic cheap wireless, so you can go stand out there. Really helpful. Okay, Tremonti single cut, but still has tremolo. I like the combo. Yeah, I have a couple friends that use that. Nice thing is, I have the ASAT like yours, but with rosewood. It sounds awesome. I have a GNL Legacy, which are their strats. Yeah, the GNLs are sleepers. If you don't know about the GNLs, really great stuff. Yes, okay, people want to hear about the LANCO gig, and I missed a couple of your guys' comments. Man, about 6 months before I met the LANCO guys, I started doing what I do now with all you guys on YouTube, but I started this on TikTok. And I was posting all the time on TikTok and content of like what I make on YouTube, just shorter versions of what it's like to be a guitar player. Nashville tips, a lot of learning stuff. And now obviously I've moved all that content over to YouTube because it just doesn't make, TikTok's alright, but you don't, if we're being real, you make no money from TikTok. YouTube, I get paid from the videos, just from the monetization and it running ads. It's not crazy, but I do make money from it. So it's a no-brainer to make all my main content on YouTube, especially now because I've got a great following with you guys. YouTube's my biggest following out of any platform. We're coming up on 11,000 subscribers. It's awesome. But so here's the short story. LANCO knew they needed a guitar player. Actually, I'll tell you the longer story. So normally in Nashville, if you're going to get a gig at kind of a LANCO level or below even that level and above that level, you know, a player from the group is going to hit you up, or the musical director, or the management, one of those, and they say, hey, we're auditioning for, great example, friends that are on this gig that went through this process. Jake Owen. Okay, I've got two friends that play with Jake Owen. One runs playback, so he runs all their tracks. He's off stage running all the tracks. And then one's the drummer. And so how that works, right, is he gets 3 songs to learn. You got a 30-minute slot. It's kind of cattle call audition. There's going to be X amount of guys there. You go in, you play your 30-minute slot. So the Jake Owen example is great. If Jake Owen's definitely not at the audition, there's a bunch of management there. They record you. They ask you a couple questions. You play with the band. And then they say, okay, great. We'll be in touch. That's how a normal audition goes. So you get hit up by someone in management, the musical director, or on a smaller gig, it might just be a member of the band, if they are holding auditions. LANCO did not quite go that way. Now, LANCO's unique because it's a band. These guys aren't just some random people thrown together to support an artist. The group is the artist. The group's been making the music. The group's been playing together for a decade. It's a band. And their goal was to find a band member, not just, they could have picked from a bunch of guys that are great players that just could move from another gig and take the paycheck, but they were looking for a band member. And when I met them, the phrase they kept using is, we wanted to plant a seed, not replant a tree. That's kind of a decent analogy, I think, for it. So they knew they were looking, and one day, one of my TikTok videos, in fact, I wasn't even playing in the video, Brandon, the singer, saw the video, saw me talking about life in Nashville. He liked my vibe and the personality, so they slowly started kind of following along, watching my other videos, seeing stuff. And then there was a point where the band page, the official band page, followed me on Instagram, and I thought that's pretty cool. Like when Greatest Love Story came out, dude, like I was listening to that. You know, I was driving around in my car and had it on my Spotify. Like I knew the band, so I was like, that's cool, the band followed me. And then like 2 days later, I'm getting out of the shower, getting ready to head to a different rehearsal, and I've got a DM from the band account on my Instagram. And it reads something like, hey man, this is Brandon Lancaster. I sing in LANCO. I didn't know who any of the LANCO members were. I just knew the songs. We might have an opening for guitars. That's something you'd be interested in pursuing. I instantly was like, yeah, what's the details? So off the bat, very unique. And I almost didn't think it was real because at that level, the singer, Jake Owen, is not texting you saying, hey, would you come audition? Never, never. Anybody at like the upper level, the singer is not hitting you up. Other people are doing it. But most of the time, the singer's the artist and the whole team's built around it. Here, the whole group is the artist. And then we have a team built around that too. But so I straight got cold DM'd from them following my videos on TikTok and then Instagram. And my audition, they had called no one else. My audition was going over to Jared's personal studio, who's our utility player, and we played immediately. We played just a couple songs. They didn't even tell me what songs to learn, so I learned Greatest Love Story, Born to Love You, and another song called What I See. I just picked like the top songs on Spotify at the time. Played it, and they then we drank some beers and hung out and just talked. They talked to me about the group, and I got to know the guys a little bit. Very different than a normal audition. As abnormal as it gets. It really was the band vibe. And that's what made it so special is off the bat, they made me feel like it was a band thing. They could have had their manager reach out or do all this other stuff. And instead, Brandon came straight to me. And that made a huge difference. And I knew it was special off the bat because that does not happen, especially at that level. I remember being like, dude, the singer hit me up. The singer did. That doesn't happen, you know? So they booked me off of that for one gig. They had a one-off gig in like a month from that time, and it was kind of a rolling audition of initially, okay, he's good enough to take out on the road, but now let's take him out on the road for a gig. Can he handle himself? Can he handle playing a 90-minute set with us? Does he look good on stage? Does he learn the parts? Is he okay to travel with? Is his hygiene good? Is his vibe fit? You know, and slowly over time, that gig went well. And then I remember that night talking with Brandon, and Brandon's like, I think you might be the guy. And then I just played with them for about a year. And then after about a year, Brandon sent me down before we went to the ACM Awards. And he's like, dude, if you're in it, you can be in it. So now I'm a full member of the band. And if you look on our Spotify or whatnot, I'm in the pictures on Wikipedia or Spotify. My name's in there and stuff. So now I'm a full member of the band. The first year I was kind of like a side player with the anticipation of being a member of the band. But you know, you're just kind of, it's a rolling audition. So now I've recorded on all the new music. The new song about to come out August 2nd, You'll Always Be. You can hear a bunch of my great little ethereal slide stuff on there. I'm doing every guitar instrument you hear on there, 12-string, high-strung. There's a lot of doubled parts. But, so, yeah, long story, but that's how I got the gig with LANCO. I put myself out there, and that's the biggest thing. If you're looking to do this, you know, I always say, like, well, you're not just going to get a gig from making a TikTok or something, and ironically I did, but it was all the preparation that went into that, and then I won because I put myself out there. I've been, you know, and the YouTube's done the same thing. I've got a lot of good stuff coming, and have gotten great stuff from the YouTube channel already because I'm putting myself out there. If any of you guys just saw for the Spark 2, the Positive Grid thing, right? They were following my stuff, wanted me to be in the ad. Sat down, shot the ad with them. It was great. I'd never used that before. Really cool thing. I'm going to have one of those here soon. But, you know, so all that to say, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You know, you don't have to be the best in the world. You got to be able to play the music. But, okay, I'm way behind on comments. I know that was a long story. Let me get down to some of your guys' comments. Enjoyed the last few videos. Getting ready to take my lunch break and practice some guitar. Heck yeah, Joe. Have you played the DGTSE? I have. They're great. They're great guitars. I would own one if I didn't. I mean, I own the American one. So, I did talk with Amel at one point about potentially getting a SE to take on more fly dates. So I don't have to fly with a $4,000+ guitar. But man, I fly with it all the time anyways. I put it under the plane. I put it under the plane in an Enki, but taking 50 flights with that guitar in there, it gets chipped. It gets beat up. But I mean, that's how I make my money. That's what so I'm not worried about that. It's not like an art piece I hang on the wall. You know, I use this shit. Not saying you guys don't, but you know what I mean. I'm definitely not hating on you guys. Koopa, what's up? I'm so behind on the comments, you guys. So let me embellish on some singing. I know you can't. I'm not a great singer, honestly. I've thought about trying to force myself to do it and being like Original Music Tuesdays, and I post little clips on YouTube of me singing or something just to force myself. I'm not great at it. I don't have any good original stuff either right now. I mean, that song go? Well, Olivia's taken, but a look like hers can be found from time to time. Well, Olivia's taken, yeah, but a look like hers can be found from time to time. I'm thinking something like Olivia is what I need to find. I don't know the rest. Not a great singer, you guys, but there you go. There's a little randomness. Okay, Tim. Boss katanas are great, especially a good practice or beginning amp or a use around town amp. A lot of guys on Broadway use a Boss katana. It's light, it's super durable. The tubes aren't going to die on you, you know. So awesome, learning about guitar, luthier, and guitar setup. That's awesome, Joe. Sean Payton is your guy, no doubt. Very interesting story. Yes, please. Okay, yeah. Very interesting. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm so behind on the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed that stuff. I'm going to read some of you guys' comments instead of playing for a second because I'm so behind. Guitarist and composer. Hey, headed to Nashville next week for the Corey Wong camp. Oh, that's awesome, Craig. That's awesome. Top recommendation, check out. If you're talking music-wise, Station Inn is cool. The Underdog is cool. And Rudy's Jazz Room, which you could see different kinds of music at all of them. Rudy's is going to be more jazz-focused, great players. Station Inn is going to be maybe a little bluegrass-focused. The Underdog could be anything. But a lot of really good players will go hang out at the Underdog. Also, D's Country Lounge is cool. Music-wise, if you're here on Saturday morning going to Acme on Broadway, Saturday morning for the Soul Brunch, killer. So, yeah, have fun at that camp, man. I have the same PRS and had it set up a million times, but I still think I'm hearing buzzing on the G at the 9th and 12th. Is that just the sound of the pickup? I don't know. When you say buzzing, do you mean through the amp or like... I mean, it buzzed maybe a little... Like, that's definitely buzzing some, but it's not. Okay, if I play right. I'm not sure. Mine buzzes some, but I don't think about it. You know. So do you know vultures get that? To go. I don't know MKG stole. Okay, me descending is the exact same thing as okay. Have any tips for playing lead lines in between slow chord progressions, almost like vocal call response? Okay, Brendan, I'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to go through a couple of these comments that I've just missed. Have you discovered symmetrical music yet? I don't know what that is. Is that a group or... Frankie, what's up, Frankie? I thought Joe Glazer was the go-to. Joe Glazer is great, absolutely. Sean Payton, works a lot quicker. Just because Joe, if I take a guitar into Joe, I'm looking at anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. And Joe has a whole team. It's probably not Joe working on it. Now, they're really good. But if I take a guitar into Joe, I am waiting at least 2 weeks, and I'm paying more than double the price. Sean kills it. Sean set this up. He rolled the fret edges, fixed my problems, got all the intonation good, and restrung it. And I sat and watched and waited. I mean, I didn't even leave, and he gave it back to me. And wasn't that expensive. So, yeah, Glazier's awesome, though, no doubt. But when you do this all the time, you know, I mean, Sean, everybody in town knows, like, Sean is the guy, man. Sean Payton. I was trying to get him to start a YouTube channel, which, all that to say, I'm going to do a YouTube video with Sean, with him working on another one of my guitars, and just kind of bring you guys along. Show him working on it, you know what I mean? I think it'd be really cool. He's got a really unique process, but, especially because he lets you stay and hang out, and you can just watch him work, and he'll talk to you. And he was telling me he prefers that, because when people hang out and stay, he can get the vibe of the player, and what kind of energy they've got and whatnot, and he's setting stuff up thinking about what type of player the person might be based on just our social interaction, which is fascinating to hear him talk about. So, Glazier's no doubt a go-to guy, but if you want to pay half the money and get your guitar back instantly and get the same results, Sean. Or there's luthiers for days here, but yeah, if you've got I mean, Sean could do it too, but either way, Joe's great also. I don't go to Joe for those reasons. It's a lot more expensive and I have to wait a really long time. You know, if I was Vince Gill, I'm sure Joe's working on it and he's getting it done instantly, but I'm not, you know. So you get that kind of treatment like you're Vince Gill, even though you're not, with going to Sean. My theory game is weak. I've been noodling since the 80s, but I started over from scratch a few months ago. Hey, that's great, Sam. You don't have to know a ton of theory, you know, just some basic stuff. It's really good. How do you check out amps in a store? Okay, I was going to talk about that chord melody stuff. I loved it. Hey, I loved it. I did just play Vultures. Did you hear me? Or did you miss it? I'll play it again. Oh, yeah, okay. Stoll, I need to check him out. I can't see who's even in on TikTok. I don't know if I have 5 viewers or no viewers, or it doesn't show me how many viewers are in there. But, okay. On a telly, you can roll the tone down when doing steel licks. Yeah, I'll roll that tone down a little bit, absolutely. Why do great singer-songwriters not get deals like they used to? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. Music business is hard and it's changing a lot and really quick. And yeah, I don't really have the answer. I'm not sure, you know, but Boss Katana's great. Answered that. I saw you on Ben Glass's IG story at CMA Fest. Heck yeah. Ben's a buddy, a new buddy. But Ben's a great player. There's a whole community of guys like that here. What guitar is that? This is the PRS Silver Sky, the SE one, the cheaper one. I already played some Vultures for you guys. I meant to video with JP Burr was awesome. Hey, thanks, Thomas. Thanks for checking that one out. JP Burr is a killer guitar player. And I think that's my longest video yet, but it was a lot of fun to record that with him. A lot of fun. Stingray Bassman. Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know what that is. Voice is way too soft. Sorry, you guys. If I turn it up too much more, though, then it's going to clip when I hit the guitar. Okay. Why are you pushing asymmetrical music on us? I think that was you, you know? Hey, Tim, are leads played during the verse part of the song or any time after the first chorus? Are you talking about Vultures? I'd have to listen to it. I don't know. I was just making stuff up. Bluebird Cafe is still a great place, and that does happen. That's that classic Taylor Swift story of she played there one day, and she got just literally discovered, and then, you know, went on to be a billionaire, I think, right? I mean, you know, but yeah, like the common idea of like you're just going to be playing in a random bar in Nashville and all of a sudden get discovered is, it does happen to a very small amount of people. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen to you. But get discovered, what happens is you might be playing in the bar and someone sees you and they've got a gig. Then you play on that gig. Then someone sees you on that and it slowly compounds over time. Now is someone just going to walk in, sign you, change your life? Probably not. But it could. You never know. You get a great tone when you practice. Hey, thanks, Thomas. I'm running fairly simple right now. Nothing too crazy, but... you know, gotta run. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Patrick. Thanks to all you guys for hanging out. Smooth Curve, what amp pedal do you use for your fly rig? Thanks. Hey, Chad, I don't use any amp pedal. I do have an HX Stomp XL, but I only use it for my time-based effects, reverb, delay, any modulation stuff. It's my tuner. When we fly, LANCO is a live band amp, so we have backline. So we backline amps. So right now my backline order is an AC30 because I'm playing humbuckers most of the time out on the road, even though I am a Fender guy. Or this HDR-X20, which is kind of its own thing. But, so... For flying, I'm very fortunate I still get to use a real amp. And most of the time, the backline is pretty good. Yeah, do we get some bad ones? I never get, like, terrible ones. I've had one, like, terrible one in my time with LANCO. But otherwise, we backline amps. And that's written into the contract. So the promoter or buyer pays for the backline. And we backline microphones, a console. We backline the entire drum kit. Trip doesn't fly with anything but his sticks. And an SPDX pad. We backline a few guitars for Jared. We backline 3 guitars for Brandon, our singer, acoustic guitars, and we backline a guitar boat for me, a guitar stand, and then we backline 2 amps, and there's always one backup, so at least 3 amps. Hey Tim, I'm old enough to be your mom. No, I'm older than I look, but that's funny. Are your parents super proud of you? Do they go to some of your shows? Absolutely, yeah. I've been really lucky. My parents are both super, I would say probably proud and very encouraging and really kind, and they know I'm not making millions of dollars yet. Hopefully someday, you know, if we grow enough of these businesses really big. But either way, you know, they just know I work hard, and I think they're really happy about the LANCO stuff now because I've been down here a long time and was making no money for a really long time. So yeah, they absolutely come to shows when they can and stuff, and I'd say I got a really good support system, and really lucky for that, you know, I'm really lucky for that. So he said maybe ban Greenstone. If Greenstone keeps popping off, we will. But hey, bro, gonna take the dog for a walk. Hey, Sean, it's great to see you though. Watched your Gigcast. P.S. Nice glassy topping on the PRS there. Be cool. Hey, love seeing you in here, Sean. Love talking to you and hanging out. Lamar, great to see you in here again too, man. Hey, Tim, what's a sleeper album most don't know about but we should? Mine is the London Howlin' Wolf Sessions. That's awesome, which I need to check that out, Lamar. Sleeper album that most don't know about. A great album, and even a sleeper artist. It's the Brothers Landreth. I can't remember what the album's called. It might be called Come Morning, the one that the song Drive All Night's on, or Stay. It's their newer album. Sleeper album. I say sleeper, if you know the Brothers Landreth, you know that. Just a lot of people don't even know them, and they are just incredible. Joey can write, he can sing, he can play. Man, what a great group. I meant solo, sorry. Soloing during verse of a song anytime after. Okay, sorry. Great. Hey, Tim, are lead playing during the verse of the song or anytime after the first chorus? Anytime you want, honestly. Gregorio, it's kind of just feeling the vibe and seeing what it is. You know, certain songs will lend itself to, right off the bat, a little bit of... Mess around there, you guys, but I'd say you just got to feel out the vibe. You know, there's no formula for it, I think, is kind of the thing. What do you see most players using for amps when they play in Nashville bars? Honestly, you see a bunch of stuff. A lot of smaller amps, so anything from a Blues Junior to a Princeton. A lot of cats use Boss Katanas. And then there's a whole group of people that use direct-in rigs. And there's bars down there that will only let you use direct-in rigs. And if you don't have one, they have like some software and you just plug into a DI. Which sucks. Some people have come up and they're used to using direct rigs. I hate it. I don't use it. I only would use it if I had to. And I'm very thankful I'm not in a band that wants to do that. I'm so thankful. That sounds dumb. I'm really thankful for that. But, my PRS has been on back order for the last 3 months. I wish it was here already. Dang, what PRS are you getting, Eric? If you could only pick one Eric to learn from, which would it be? Eric Clapton or Eric Johnson? Right now, I'd say Eric Johnson because I learned so much Clapton stuff when I was younger. And I'd love to learn some of that Eric Johnson stuff because I didn't do that. But when I was younger, I learned the Eric Clapton stuff because I was listening to Eric Clapton, not Eric Johnson. I was listening to some Eric Johnson, but I was never trying to learn it. Okay. Is LANCO planning some longer runs with new music coming out? Absolutely. Yep, we'll have some full headline tour stuff coming up, but that'll be in the fall, and then honestly, going into next year, we're going to be incredibly busy. But going into fall, there will be that. So the album is Howlin' Wolf, backed by Clapton. That's awesome. Steve Winwood, Charlie Watts, and Steve. Yeah, it's nuts. I need to check it out, Lamar. Bill Wyman. Oh, nice. Yeah. Are your guitars plecked? No, none of these are plecked. None of them are plecked, but set up right and stuff. They sound great. it's a little bit of jamming. Okay. But Eric Clapton Les Paul. I ordered a Satin CE. Oh, heck yeah. The Satin CEs are sick, man. I hope you get that soon. That Epiphone Les Paul was super distortion. I wanted something lighter and found it. Yep. I went with PRS for that same reason, just about. Joey is a beast for sure. Yes. I am enjoying former member. Oh, Ariel Posen. I love his stuff too. Both of them are they're different, but a little synonymous, and I love them both. I agree. Another sleeper, even more so. Less people probably know about Ariel Posen, I think, than Joey Landreth. But great. Loving the content. One question. What was your major in college? I didn't graduate college, and that's because I got a job in my major, and I dropped out. But I'll tell you that story. Major in college was computer science. After freshman year, I did an internship for a company. Programming, I was building custom Excel sheets using Visual Basic, actually programming them, not just like now you say programming, some people in business like program an Excel sheet. No, I was like coding a custom Excel sheet for a manufacturer in Visual Basic back then. Then after my sophomore year in college, I got a job at a startup, 9 people, and they were building native iOS and Android applications. So I did the internship for the summer, and it was 2 people. And they taught me how to learn. They taught me how to build iOS apps and stuff. And that started becoming my skill set, was native iOS. And then later I got into native Android too. Yeah, I did that. And then going into my junior year, I was doing bad in college because I wasn't putting in any work. I was going home and playing guitar all night long. So I still had the job there. This is 2014. I'm 20. I'm getting paid $20 an hour, which in 2014 was good. Now it's different, but I was getting paid $20 an hour. I was learning on the job, a job in my field already, and I wasn't doing great in school, so I just decided to drop out. I kept my job, and a lot of people I went to school with didn't even know I had dropped out because Columbia, I went to Mizzou, downtown Columbia, right in the heart of it is where our office was, and it bleeds right into campus, so I would just walk 2 minutes further, like I'm going to class, but instead I'm going to work. I'm getting paid, I'm getting work experience, and then guess what? There's no homework. Go home and play guitar all night, and my grades aren't suffering. So I did that, and then went on to be an independent developer, freelance for years and years and years. I still maintain one contract with a company in St. Louis that I built applications for a long time ago called Intennis Direct. But yes, that's my college story. Thanks for the question. Gear question. Why would a player buy a volume pedal? What role should it play? Lead only or rhythm as well? Okay, John, great question. Let's explore that right now. Great question. I'll tell you what, I'm going to heat up that coffee in a minute. I just had my slide. I just seen it. It was sitting somewhere. Oh, I've got a glass slide in here that I can use. So I'm going to show you some reasons why you buy a volume pedal. Because it does, you do think of it as, like, why would I use that? I normally been playing the brass slide. I've got 2 here. But I'm going to play the glass one for a second. So let's set the brass one up here. Set it back here so you can see it in the shot a little bit. I started on this glass one, though. I play on my pinky. So here's a great example of a volume pedal. For Greatest Love Story or whatnot with LANCO, if you guys familiar with them and me playing with them at all or whatnot, I'll play a lot of stuff like this where I'm going that type of. Crazy, man. This glass slide is thicker, and I'm so used to using now this brass one. So as you hear, I'm doing all those volume swells, right? And that gives a great sound of going. Slowly, I'm using it like a wah pedal, going. Also, my tuner on the HX Stomp is a press and hold to make the tuner happen. So if I want to kill my signal really quick on stage, I just tap that volume pedal up, and now it's 12. But right. So you can also use it for then all just the swell stuff like that going. Now you can do that on a Strat going. But it's easy with the. So like Born to Love You's LANCO song, and I start the song going. Then I go. So I use it for all of that type of stuff, you know. So that's why volume pedal is really good for all that type of stuff. It's funny, I use the volume pedal an intense amount during my live gigs and stuff, and I totally understand how that might be something where it's like, why would I get a volume pedal? And it's for quick cutting the signal, but it's all of that, you know. And sometimes, it just depends. Sometimes I'll back the volume pedal a little bit down and then turn the guitar all the way up and just, you know, and then click the volume pedal all the way when I'm going solo. Stuff like that, you know. Stuff like that. Oh, I got all that delay on now. That is fun, though. The delay, when you get a sound going like this. Let's do these two together. Got the bell and the tumness, and you get that, and you turn this down. That. See, it's not as I'll tell you what, though, it's not as saturated as this. Actually, these two are the most saturated. Let's see if I can. Ha! A little out of tune. Anyways, okay. Okay, sorry you guys. Reading a couple comments. Let me see. Sing something for us. We know you've been working on those Vox. I've been trying. I'll try and sing something. All right. Hey, thanks, JT. Joe, thanks for the comment too. Ever cross paths with Oddly Freed? I don't think so. He's got a respectable bio for sure and seems to fly under the radar. Can listen to that guy all day. Loving your channel style. Hey, thanks, Joe. I appreciate the nice comment, man. I appreciate the nice comments from all of you guys. Everybody's being really cool. Does LANCO ever drop down to E flat if Brandon is having a tough day or on a long run? No, we don't, and that's because we have the entire. We run tracks with LANCO, which any current country act, honestly, any current act in the world, just about. There's people that don't. Cody Johnson's very vocal about he doesn't. I don't know if Need to Breathe does, but also those people can afford to have a 9-piece band. You know, I just saw Alabama, and they're not using any tracks, but they had an 8-piece string section, a vocal choir, 2 electric guitar players, a bass player, a dedicated acoustic player, a violin player, a pedal steel player, and so once you have more people and you can afford to pay all those people, well, if you've got a pedal steel player, you're not going to put pedal steel in the tracks, you know. So, like the dream is that the LANCO would be the 5 people, and then we're hitting really big, and we build out the band. We got 2 backup singers. We've got a pedal steel or a dedicated this or that, you know. But all that to say, we can't just modulate the track sound. That would fuck all of us up intensely bad. So no, we don't ever do that. Other people do that, and probably a lot of times people will lower the key down on Broadway, being like, all right, I want to sing this lower today. That's really, really common. The LANCO doesn't, but it's because our show is mapped out. The keys are mapped out. That would throw me off really bad. I'd have to practice for that. The last video uploaded, was that a pedal or a knob? The last video upload, was that a pedal or that would have been my volume pedal if I did any swells. Volume pedal. Although I think in that solo thing, I don't think I did any swells, but I might have. I definitely might have. That's where we were doing like a... kind of like that. What was I? That's a fun little. Top 3 favorite rock bands? I don't know. At this point, I'm not gonna lie, I would consider Hardy a rock band. Tell me if I'm wrong. Hardy's a rock artist, pretty much. He's a country slated rock artist. I just saw him live at CMA Fest. Really good, really good. Said sing for us. I didn't sing at all, but hey Tim, what's your pick preference? Let me get up here and change this real quick. I'll show you. So I'll show you my preference, and then I'll show you what I freaking use, like with LANCO. Okay. I like using a Fender Medium. Boom. Basic, I use the shoulder on it, so I'm using this edge. That's what I like, not the point. Now, LANCO picks are, I think these are Tortex, which is Dunlop's company, I believe. And like there, this you can see like the flex in it, right? It's just a medium flex. The flex in this pick is not, it's a lot harder pick. And I don't like this as much, but I've gotten used to playing with it. Because with LANCO, it's great on acoustic, but with LANCO, when you throw picks out and stuff, like I don't want to throw out these. And I do that a lot during the show. And you know, that's part of it. Once you're playing and doing that, you're thinking about like, okay, after I do whatever solo, I'm going to throw the pick out. And I want to be holding a LANCO pick when I do it. So I'll pick up a LANCO pick. Also, on the mic stand, I've got a pick holder. And that I fill up with only LANCO picks. So at home, I love using a Fender Medium, or if I'm not playing with LANCO. But I've gotten used to using these too. It's just a little harder, a little more bitey, I feel like. It's got a great jangle to it. Let's plug in the DGT for a second. Even though I do love playing that Silver Sky. I've been playing that the most at home. But also, I mean, come on, you gotta love the DGT. Okay, Wildwood. Hey, Wildwood, great to see you in here, man. Random thought, it's so weird that Hardy runs bass tracks instead of bringing a bass player on the road. You know, oddly enough, I don't know why, that's becoming a lot more common. A lot of people are doing that. Saves money, but Hardy's not hurting for money, so I don't know what the thinking is there, honestly. Let's see. It's way out of tune. Now, this just came off of a flight, and I haven't opened this, y'all, so. Cut her a little break. Under the plane. And that could be worse. Yeah, G string was way out. It's also about time to change these strings. Ooh. We're way out. Way out of tune. out the coil split. Tummus up a little bit. Get that little. Oh, see, that's got too much high end on it. Although here, I can just turn this off right here. Okay. On your last upload, you were using a pedal or knob. On your last upload, were you using a pedal or knob for the swells? It would have been a volume pedal. Hey, Sean, great to see you too. Any experience with the Lawler pickups? I'm building I think they're awesome. I've only played it a few times, but I'd absolutely recommend it. That's where I stand on it. They're awesome. Will it do the Fender clean / edge of breakup thing pretty well? Joey, I think so, man. I definitely think so. In fact, I'll show you right now. So, if I turn this up, it's got a master volume, and then it's got, it's like a Marshall. So it's got the treble and bass volumes, but it's jumped inside, so they're both always on. So, if I listen to this, if I crank up this treble a little bit, and I've got no pedal, well, I've got reverb and delay, but no other pedals, it's going to be kind of loud, you guys. So just... Starting to get a little bit of there. If you want to bring out some of the mud, just hit that bright switch, and I got... Now, obviously, if I crank both these channels, we'll turn the master down so I don't blow my head off, but then you get a lot... And obviously that's super high up. In fact, I'd bring that bass channel down a little bit. So you can make that thing scream, right? And that's just with those. Now, live, what's great is I leave the preamp volumes both a little lower, and then I crank that master up to almost 7, because it's only a 20-watt amp. Now, in here, if I do that, this is going to be too loud for me to sit here and... Look, it rung the E string on my acoustic. It's way too loud for me to play it like that, sitting this close to the amp. But really good, really popular, you're right. The first tip of the day. Thank you. Yes, I don't come on here and ask a bunch for tips and stuff, but I obviously really appreciate it when you guys do it. Pete, thank you for the tip. I really appreciate it. These live streams aren't normally monetized and stuff, so I just come on and hang out. But that brings me to another thing I'm going to ask you guys about in a second after I answer a couple more questions. Pete, starting the tips off, thank you so much, man. I try not to come on here and just be hammering with you guys like tip, because you don't have to, but I appreciate it a lot, obviously. So thank you, Pete. I really appreciate you, and thanks for hanging out. Personally, I'm into the band of Heathens these days. Great live band. Yeah, heck yeah. Okay. HDRX, under the radar country band I love. The Wild Feathers are awesome. Yeah, yeah. Bad problem to have, just a heads up. Yeah, I throw a lot of picks, and you always do. I won't lie. Here's a funny pick story that just happened like 3 or 4 gigs ago. A girl in one of the rows was like screaming, wanting a pick. She's asking for it. And I take it and I zing it. Fairly good, fairly hard. And she was asking for a pick. And I didn't mean to do this. And went right in her shirt. Right down. I was like, well, you got your pick. But I zung it. But yeah, I tend to try and go up. Not like right at somebody. Because I made that mistake, you know. You can really flick it and get it going. And these picks especially. But sounds lovely. Hey, thanks, Hardy. Bass tracks instead of an actual human being playing bass live. What's next? Karaoke. Hey, John, I know, you know. The rappers have been doing karaoke for a while, right? It's just now there's some great rappers that will employ a whole live backing band, but some, you just get up and run tracks. That's a different genre of music, and that's okay. But, you know, I don't know the thinking behind Hardy's decision on that. Because most of the time for lower level acts, it's a budget thing, right? Okay, we could put bass in the tracks, and I save $200 a gig from paying somebody and feeding someone and transporting someone, you know. So I get that, but Hardy's not hurting for money, you know. So I don't know what the thinking is there, honestly. How often are you having the Silver Sky and DGT worked on? Assuming they get checked up every time. No, not they restrung. I've never had this one worked on or touched. I've never had anything done to this, and I've owned it for coming up on a year. Never had anything, and it doesn't need anything. Silver Sky I had worked on once just to get the intonation and the action set a little bit better. But otherwise, no. I'm only having them worked on if there's problems, which I can adjust the truss rod myself. It's when there's bigger problems that I want to take it to someone, you know. You know what I love about this guitar, man? Listen to this just acoustic. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Cal, another tip, dude. Thank you. You're always in here, man. It's always great to see you, and I always appreciate those tips. I appreciate it so much. I'm just hanging today. Nothing crazy exciting, but if you want to hang with me for an hour and a half, it will be up to rewatch. But then in the eyeball, yeah. Just keep it family friendly. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I didn't say it. You work hard. Hey, thanks, Pete. I appreciate it, you guys. I appreciate it. I'm probably after the next couple minutes, we'll do like 5 more minutes, then I'm gonna hop off. But hey, thanks. PRS knows what they're doing. I love mine. I agree, Sean. That's why I went with it, man. The locking tuners and you know, the tuning stability, just being you know, all that. Love these things, man. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. How do you make a good solo? I'd say keeping it simple. Following the chords as much as you can. Even just the root note of the chord you're heading towards, you know. And simple tends to be better. Simple, you know. Instead of doing a bunch of crazy stuff, you can just get away with... chicken pick, that makes me think of, this isn't the guitar for it, but... I don't know. So what we got? Okay, you guys. Do you think people play bad solos because they try to overplay? I mean, I do if I overplay, but I'm not a shredder, you know, so I gotta rely on, like, tone, touch, taste, timing, the phrasing, you know. I can't just rip it. You know, but everyone's different. Thanks for that too, Sean. Funny story, I had to fill in for someone on Purple Haze, learned the solo note for note, must practice 30 times, went to play it in front of a few people and butchered it, LOL. Red light syndrome. Yeah, absolutely. You know, sometimes trying to play stuff note for note is hard because you get so locked into playing it note for note that as soon as you miss one note, it throws your whole thing off, you know. Whereas if you're improvising, just keep going. You know, that's what I think about at least. But I do get that. Wildwood, what's up? What's the most challenging piece you play in LANCO? Anything you really need to focus on when it's coming up the set list, or is it all breezy at this point? So it's all breezy at this point, and I'll say just in general, like, LANCO's music is not hard, you know. I'm playing a lot of stuff like... I'm playing that stuff, I'm playing... The most challenging part is we do an improv section, which if you go to a video that I have titled, like, come to the biggest gig I've ever played, or come to a festival, or something like that, I have the full improv big solo recorded well by our camera guy. Hey, Pete, thank you for the dude, Pete, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your guys' tips, more than you know. So, thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time to come hang out. And I am going to end it soon, because I need to eat and get on with my day. But this has been awesome. Hey, thanks, Randall, too. Ann Klein on TikTok. Thank you, guys. I know I've been kind of ignoring TikTok a little bit. Sorry about that. But most challenging piece is probably just that improvised solo, because every night I'm trying to change it, challenge myself, go a different place. It's over a static kind of E minor thing. So you really got to leave space and make space, and that's the most challenging, but it's improvised. So, you know, I start it the same every time. I come up and do a big just... whatever, mess around, but that's super true, Randall. It's not about what you play, it's about what you don't play. Yeah, so that's the most challenging thing of leaving space and whatnot, but any of the actual songs, to be honest, are not super hard. Lots of people could play these parts, you know, but it's about putting on a great show with it. It's about singing at certain points when I have to for just basic background stuff. It's about playing really in the pocket. It's about having great tone. Great tone is key. Good touch, not overplaying. So, yeah, that improvised part is probably the most challenging, but what I look forward to the most, you know. Great question. Thanks for hanging out, Wildwood. Ever have that red light syndrome issue? I've had it, no doubt. More in the studio. I played live so much now that I don't get really worried live, but I've just done it hundreds and hundreds of times. so many gigs. Who knows how many gigs I've played at this point. But, yeah, you know, that does happen sometimes, and it's just repetition. Repetition will get you going. What amp you playing? I'm playing through this PRS HDRX20 right here. HDRX20 is what I'm playing through. Hey, Tim, just ordered a sandblasted PRS, and I can start sounding like you. Heck yeah. Dude, the sandblasted ones look sick. What color did you get? Those look super cool, honestly. They did something really cool with that. I've got the CE right over there. It's in open E right now, so I won't play it. But I do have the CE. It's the same color as this one. It's funny. It is the same color, but they do look different. I'll hold them next to each other just to show you guys. Here's the CE. It's still a McCarty Burst also. It's just a little lighter. And I don't mean physically lighter, although it is physically lighter. It's a semi-hollow too. It's an open E right now. Got a really great kind of snappy ring to it. Man, this is a good guitar. I'm glad I decided not to sell that. But you can see they're both McCarty Burst, but this one is definitely a little deeper and richer. I don't know how much of that is because I've played them both a lot now, but I've owned this one since 2021, and this one since this is a 2023 model. So some of that might be just fading out, but they look similar, very different. Look similar, very different. Okay, you guys, I think I'm about to hop off, man. I got some stuff to do. Yeah. Hey, let me answer this last question. Thomas, Timmy, what's your favorite transparent overdrive? Been looking for a Klon/bruise breaker thing as I feel my blues driver is too fizzy for my medium gain strat tone. Okay, Thomas, great question. I've got two for you. You can try the Nobles ODR1. I love that. Or the Wampler Bell. The Bell. Really love the Bell. And the Bell I set to lower gain. So, you know, on here I'm playing... That's just clean. Now here's the bell. And it's really responsive. See how when I hit it gentle, it's... But if I dig in... The bell's probably my favorite pedal because I can just hit it real soft. But it still gets... Now, straight Klon vibe is more that tumness, where you get that... Now, I've got that set also... I've got that Klon set with higher gain, you know, so... But Bell or Nobles ODR1. So here's the tumness. So I've got higher gain. So I'll play through that for a second. Now here's the Bell. So I got them set a little different, you know. But that tumness definitely has a little more sap to it because of how I have it set also. That's with adding the full drive in. Or do the tumness and the bell together. So here's the tumness. Now there's with the bell. Transparent overdrive, the bell, really good. Listen how it cleans up just with my fingers, you know, right? if I dig in? Then just if you go back to pick it. I love how the bell is just so dynamic in your touch, man. All day long, I feel. Well, if I play it right, listen. So I can control a lot of the drive just with my right hand without changing any volume knob and stuff, you know? And it just... Listen to that. Isn't that crazy? The tumness is a little bit more mid-push, no doubt. And I've got it set higher again, so it's not going to clean up the same. That's that tumness. Definitely add some more sack to it. Okay, couple things. Trey, thank you so much for the tip. Again, you guys are tipping today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Great stream, dude. Awesome vibe chat. Demoing tons. Keep it up. Hey, Trey, thank you. Thank you all you guys for hanging out, both on YouTube and TikTok. I know TikTok, I'm a little slower on the chat. Been loving your YouTube videos and Nikki V's. Hey, thanks, Hayden. What's up, Hayden? Let's see. The PRS amp. I love this PRS amp. Which cab? I'm using a Sir Bella Reverb cab. It's got a Celestian V-type in it. That's what I'm using. Bell over Tumness Timmy is getting spicy. Yeah. Combining them is fun. And I definitely did. Glad to see everyone. Hey, thanks, guys. I was going to hop off, and I started. I am still going to hop off. But do you find that Tumness... Okay, answer that. Hey, Tim, quick question. Fellow musician here. How do you deal with all the tempting offers from good-looking women after gigs? Okay, great question. Well, it's easy being in a relationship. If you have that mindset, it's easier to be like, I'm not going to indulge or whatnot. And it depends on people you're around. Some people, relationship, married or not, some people aren't always great people. So surrounding yourself with like a group that isn't just going after that all the time makes a massive difference. Massive difference. And once the stakes are higher, you know, you just wouldn't do that. But yeah, I mean, there was a time in my life where you're just playing bars, and half of the excitement was trying to talk to girls afterwards. But you know, you get a little bit older, wiser, maybe. You know, and people aren't always just throwing themselves at you, musicians, like some people think. Now that does happen, but when you're around a good group of people, and you've got a good home life, and you're secure with where you're at, it's a no-brainer and easy to say, not saying no, but, you know, not even engage. But that is a factor. Is a factor. I know, kind of joke question, but I wasn't entirely joking. Yeah, I get it. I get it, you know. I think that's just you being disciplined and being like, this isn't what I'm here for. Unless it is, I mean, some guys go out and they're single, and that is what they're there for. To each their own there, but... Hayden, okay, I can check out your channel, Hayden. I've heard your name before, Hayden. I think I have. Maybe I've seen it, but... Okay, hey, you guys, with that, I can't thank you enough for the tips and stuff. I really appreciate it. I'll run it for 3 more minutes. I'm at an hour and 42 minutes of streaming. For 3 more minutes, I'll run it. And it's the only time I'll say if any of you guys want a tip. That's appreciated and welcome. Also, I teach lessons, and if you're interested, you can hit me up on either, if you're in the TikTok chat, a DM on TikTok or Instagram, or you can shoot me a message at timavenmusic@gmail. And if you guys are interested in a private lesson, I do $1 a minute. I normally do an hour-long lesson, but I'm happy to do a 45-minute lesson with you too if that works better for you. So, just saying. Would love to hear from you guys. So, great job. Hey, thanks, Joe. Thomas, thank you. If I weren't, it would be easy to say no. Yeah, that's the factor. When you're not, it's easy. It's easy to say no. But yeah, when you're single, that kind of comes to your prerogative. What are but it's just like alcohol or anything else, it could be a slippery slope. So hey, thanks Zero the Hero. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you. All right, I think we're about to turn her down, turn her off. Hey, everyone that's tuning in, thank you. If you're watching this after the fact and you've somehow watched it for almost 2 hours, thank you so much. Thanks for subscribing, hanging out, you guys. I've got some more good videos on the way. And stuff, so I love you guys. I love hanging out with you guys. This is my favorite thing in the world, so I can't thank you enough. And there I'm going to end it. So until next time, we're going to say it. Until next